Hello, my name's Caden, or Ninjago, and today we are going to be going through and looking at every single elemental master ever to exist from the world of Ninjago. Now, this includes every elemental master who has an official minifig, such as Kai and Morrow here. It is going to include knockoff customs, such as Libba, and it will also include purist customs, like my custom Zarkar. Now, I think there are 71 customs in this video. I can guarantee you will learn something new, because there are just so many elemental masters that people have no idea about. So I'm making this video. We're going to take a look at every master in depth, and yeah, hopefully you can get a new understanding about the world of Ninjago. So thanks to Glenn Lakin confirming every elemental master's Source Dragon origin, we can go through the elemental masters in order of Source Dragon, starting with the Motion Dragon. Now, of course, the first and main power under the Motion Dragon is Fire. Here we have Kai. I'm not going to spend too long looking at each of these figures because there are just so many, but this is Kai's Spectral suit from the newest June 2025 wave. Pretty decent suits. They have grown on me quite a lot. I just don't like how much the masks stick out there. But yeah, Kai, probably one of the most iconic characters in all of Ninjago, and here is the most recent figure of him. Next up, we have Ray. Now, every elemental master in this video features their most recent canon outfit, except Ray and Maya, just because I really like the Serpentine War versions of them, so I thought I would just use them here. But this knockoff Ray has arm prints. I got it from EM Minifigs. The back of it there looks pretty cool. Of course, this is the outfit Ray wore back I think about 50 years ago in the Ninjago timeline when they fought the Anacondri warriors. This is a really cool Ray figure, and I would recommend going over to EM Minifigs and picking one up yourself. The third and final Master of Fire is this custom Fire Master from Ninjago Legends. Now, this custom does break my one of my main rules I have when making custom figs, and it does use blue tack, and you can see it through the helmet there. Essentially, the armor kind of prevents the helmet from being pushed down all the way. So unfortunately, I did have to use a bit of blue tack to stick it down. But if we do a 360 of it here, you can see he has Reaper's cape from Overwatch. If I take the mask off, you can see he is actually using Garmadon's face. Where's that Garmadon face from? I don't recognize that, actually. I don't know. It seems probably from the Ninjago movie, isn't it? But yeah, here is my custom Legends Fire Master without the blue tack mask. Next up, we've got Griffin Turner, of course, the Master of Speed. Now, this is one of the Elemental Master figs we got way back in 2015 for the Tournament of Elements wave. This is such a cool minifig. I really love it. I've not got too much to say about it other than the fact that I absolutely love it. It is so, you know, it feels so iconic looking back at this now. Next up, we have 3 generations of the Masters of Sound. This is Teal'c, the current Master of Sound, seen in the Tournament of Sources. This is a custom minifig. I have tons of tutorials on how to make these customs on my channel. In fact, what I'll do is in the description of this video, I will link as many videos as I can find on my channel in which I give tutorials on how to make as many of these customs as I've made in the past. A very special figure here, this is Jacob. Now, this isn't his official figure, you may have noticed. This is from Super Brick Figs. I bought it for about $25, $30, I can't quite remember. But this is the last time we've seen Jacob in the show. His 2021 figure is kind of inaccurate. It's like a legacy revamp. And then finally, for the Masters of Sound, we have the Serpentine War era Master of Sound. Now, this guy is also from EM Minifigs. Really cool custom. I love the printing on the fez. I unboxed this guy not too long ago. Again, you can see that video in the description. Really nice custom. The back of it there, it does have back printing. They definitely, you know, the knockoff companies did not hold back with these former Elemental Master customs, and yeah, I am a big fan of this figure. The fourth power to fall under the Motion Dragon is Shockwave, and of course the current Master of Shockwave is Zeatrix. Now, this is literally just the Beatrix figure with the armor cut off, and I think the hands have been swapped around. But yeah, this is a really cool custom. I don't like how you can see her mouth from behind the hair, but that is not my bad, that is Lego's bad. But yeah. Now, this is not something too many people, I think, have clocked onto, but Emperor Levo is actually Zeatrix's dad, and he was the former Master of Shockwave. Now, this is revealed when we meet Emperor Levo in the flashback scene with Raz. However, like I say, I don't think too many people really took that in. If you watch the scene, he does say Zeatrix inherited his powers. And the final elemental master to fall under the motion dragon is Frak. Now Frak, this figure is new from the June 2025 wave. This figure did cause a lot of controversy because they used his hooded version rather than the unmasked version, which is what a lot of us were hoping for. Now we're moving to the energy source dragon. Of course, the main element under the energy source dragon is lightning, and here we have Jay in his rogue outfit. I really like this figure. This is such a beautiful figure. I have been really liking what they've been doing with Jay in the recent seasons, and it looks like now in season 4, spoiler alert, we are going to get so much more Jay content, it's looking like, and it has been way too long, and I am really looking forward to it. But yeah, here is Rogue. This is the second Master of Lightning. It is Jay's mother. I think people call her Libba, but I don't know if that name was ever confirmed. The torso and legs are knockoff, but the face and hair are from official LEGO figures. The knockoff face and hair just didn't look too good. But yeah, this is a really, really cool custom. Under Energy, we also have Wildfire, the Master of Heat, a member of the Ninja team, of course. This is the only Master of Heat we've ever seen. This figure is extremely common, and people are comparing it to the Legacy Kai figure. I don't think it's that bad. I think this comes in about half the amount of sets as Legacy Kai, but of course, we do still have a few years left of Dragon's Rising, so who knows how long they're going to keep milking this figure for. Next up, we have Mr. Pale, and, I mean, I could have swore he was right here, but... oh, there he is. So yeah, there's Mr. Pale, of course, the Master of Light, which allows him to turn invisible. This figure of him is exclusive to the Tournament Temple City set, £220. The Ultra Agents version of him you can buy in a cheaper set. However, of course, that figure is based on the Season 4 design. Well, the Season 4 design is based on that figure. But if you want the newest, updated Dragon's Rising version of Mr. Pale, then yeah, you are going to need to get the Tournament Temple City. Next up, for the Energy Dragon, we have this guy. Now, this guy is from the Serpentine Wars, and it has never been confirmed what he is the master of, but I think just going off the colour scheme and his elemental dragon, it is very, very safe to assume that he is the former master of Light. Garmadon also said that he implied that he knew the former master of Light, so it would make sense if Garmadon fought alongside this guy, that, yeah, he is the former master of Light. And finally, for the Energy Dragon, here we have Arccrack. Now, I'm having to hold my camera in a really weird position here just so I could zoom out and get the full view of him, but he is a really cool creature, I guess. He's a Kragling from the realm of monsters. However, this figure that I've got is from Power Miners, but I think the color scheme does a really good job of portraying Arccrack whilst he's using his elemental powers. And yeah, that just about does it for the Energy Dragon. Now we're moving on to the Strength Dragon, and of course, as Glenn said, the MVP of Strength is Cole. Now this is Spectral Cole. I got it from the Destiny's Bounty set, but it also comes in the Frak set as well. So it's a pretty hard figure to get your hands on, to be honest, but it is a pretty cool figure. The colour scheme's quite nice, the spectral suits all look really nice, but yeah, we don't have too much time to waste, so we're going to move on from that guy pretty quick. Here we've got my custom Lily. This is, of course, Cole's mother, and she is a really fascinating character, and I do hope we learn a little bit more about her in Dragon's Rising. We know she competed in a Tournament of Sources previously, which is so cool, and the final Master of Earth figure we have is Cole's grandfather. Now, he, of course, fought in the Serpentine Wars, and he was manipulated by Master Chen into working for the Serpentine. Here we've got Karloff, the Master of Metal. This figure is also from the 2015 sets. It is quite valuable, I think. So is Griffin Turner. But yeah, this is a really, really cool figure. I love the big gorilla fists, and Karloff is probably one of the most beloved Elemental Masters. And it is a shame that we didn't see him in the tournament. The last time we saw him in the show, I think he had a little background cameo in Season 10, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I would have definitely loved to have seen Karloff in the Tournament of Sources. Next up, we've got Gravis. Now, this is just the Gravis from the 2021 Tournament of Elements set. However, the legs have been swapped with Elrond from Lord of the Rings, and they just make it look so much more show accurate. I really, really like this Gravis figure. I'm so happy that they gave us an official one, and they kept it quite true to the show depiction of him. Here we've got the former Master of Gravity from the Serpentine Wars. Again, another knockoff. I think the shiny helmet on him looks really cool. He doesn't look too much like Gravis if we get them lined by, lined up here. I think giving him any kind of facial hair would have made him look a bit more related to Gravis. But no, yeah, it doesn't really matter, does it? And I think this is a pretty cool character design. Next up, we have Maud, the Master of Surface Tension. This is, of course, a custom minifig. And rounding off the Strength Source Dragon, we have Geo. Now, Geo is probably on the list of Ninjago characters I want to get official figures. I think Geo is probably in like the top 3 next to Arakor and Mr. Frohickey. This is just such a cool character design, a Gekul Muntz fusion, and of course making him the Master of Fusion is really cool. And rounding off the OG4 Ninjas Source Dragons, we have the Source Dragon of Focus. This Zane is the Storm Suit Zane. He doesn't actually use a spectral suit in the show. When the ninja wear their spectral suits, Zane wears a storm suit, so this is the most recent canon version of him. Here we've got the former Master of Ice from the Serpentine Wars, a really cool design, and he's kind of a bit of a mysterious character, to be honest, because we know he kind of, he sought out Zane to give Zane his powers, but we never learned why he chose Zane, how he knew about Zane. So yeah, that's really interesting. This is another Elemental Master that I'm not too sure too many people will know about. This is the first ever Master of Ice, so I'm guessing he existed around the same time as Niad did. But this is my custom figure of him. I'm super proud. He first appeared, he's only appeared I think in Way of the Departed. And there's like an ice statue of him, so this figure is based on the ice statue. But yeah, I am really proud of this custom, and it is one of the newest figures in my collection. Here we've got Nyoro, the Master of Mind. Now, this is one of the most expensive Ninjago minifigs. I'm guessing it's because it came in a Bricktober, which, yeah, kind of makes sense, and he is a pretty desirable minifig. But this Nyoro is super cool. The next Elemental Master we have for the Focus Dragon is Zer, the Master of Reflex. Of course, he is from the First Realm, a species called Devonians. This custom is a pretty cool custom, if I do say so myself. I just don't like how the face is a different shade of purple to the other pieces. But here's the back of him there with the dual molded legs. He's really cool, and I think it is really cool to have an Elemental Master from the First Realm. Here we've got Algu, the Master of Figment. He is from the Underworld. I really like collecting figures from different realms, so I think it is so cool to have Elemental Masters from Imperium, the Underworld, the Cloud Kingdom, the First Realm, the Cursed Realm. I mean, there are so many different realms with different Elemental Masters. And finally, for the Source Dragon of Focus, we have Sora. Now, I'm going to be completely honest, I don't really like Sora as a character. She gives me, like, Kiriko vibes, if anyone is into Overwatch, and I think you'll know, if you are into Overwatch, that people don't really like Kiriko, and I don't really like Sora for the same reasons. She just feels, like, kind of annoying. She kind of, she tries too hard to be funny. When she was like annoying Raz by changing the motorbike, like I don't know. I know it's a fictional character and I shouldn't care too much, but I just don't really like Sora. She kind of makes everything about herself when she's always crying. I mean, anyway, I'm gonna move on because I could literally sit here for 20 minutes and talk about why I don't really like Sora. Maybe that could be another video idea. But yeah, here is the spectral suit for Sora. Moving on to the Source Dragon of Life, we of course have Lloyd. Now, Lloyd's power is ambiguous, but I think one of the writers, I think maybe Glenn, said that he interprets it as Lloyd's power is called life energy. But over the years, through translations and stuff, some people have dropped the life part of it and just calling his power energy, and some people have dropped the energy part of it, just calling it life. But he said that he thinks the full name for the power is life energy, and I'm sure we'll get an answer for that in Season 4, but for now, I think I am happy calling Lloyd the Master of Life. Here we've got Belobo, Master of Nature. This is another custom minifig that I got from Super Brick Figs. I think this one was about £30. Pretty good quality. The legs are a little bit... But yeah, this isn't a review on the custom minifig, is it? Belobo is a pretty cool character, even though he is a little bit creepy barging into Jay's room. But yeah, here is the most recent canon version of Belobo. We are not going to talk about whatever this is supposed to be. This Elemental Master's power is unknown, but it's pretty safe to assume that she is the former Master of Nature. She fought alongside the Elemental Alliance in the Serpentine Wars, and just going off her colour scheme, yeah, I am pretty confident in assuming that she is the Master of Nature. Here we've got Xantance, the Master of Plants. Now, I was 100% with the people who thought that Xantance's power was nature. I think it doesn't really make sense for it to be plants. They are literally the exact same power. Fire and heat Earth and Quake, I kind of get those being different powers, but I think nature and plants, I do not like the power of plants too much, to be honest. Second to last, for the Life Source Dragon, we have Tox, the Master of Poison. Now, this is the newest Tox figure. Here is the old Tox. I know a lot of people don't really like this new design, but I kind of like it. I think it does sort of suit her a little bit, to be honest. Kind of like a punk rock sort of vibe. Yeah, I do quite like this Tox, and you can get it in a relatively cheap set, so thumbs up all around. And finally, for the Life Source Dragon, we have Gorge, who is the Master of Size. Now, this is, of course, a Gekko who can grow and shrink. This is my custom version of him, and I am holding the camera at a really awkward angle to get this shot of him because he is just too big to fit in my camera's field of view. So I'm gonna have to wrap this up now. But yeah, cool custom. The sixth Source Dragon is the Source Dragon of Flow, and the MVP of this dragon is Nia. This is Nia's spectral suit. Of course, the mask is exclusive to the £180 bounty set. But yeah, this is a pretty cool Nia figure, and Nia is one of the greatest characters in Ninjago, to be honest. I didn't used to love her, but she has definitely grown on me a lot. Here we've got Maya. Again, like Rey, this is a knockoff version of her. The face is based on the Serpentine War era rather than the Season 7 face. But yeah, Maya is a pretty cool character. I really liked her in Seabound. I think we last saw her in Crystallized. Of course, Nia references her when they go into the Realm of Lee. And oh, it is so nice to be able to talk about Season 3 Part 2 and not have to worry about spoilers. But yeah, here is Maya, Nia's mother, the former Master of Water. Here we've got Niad, the first Master of Water. Again, I spoke about her earlier when we were talking about the first Master of Ice. I think these two probably were from the same generation of Elemental Masters. But yeah, here is Niad. Next up, we've got Acronix and Crux. Of course, these are two different people, but they are twin brothers, and they are both the Masters of Time. Now, people say that their powers were so OP that the writers of the show had to kind of write the power of time out of the show. Which, yeah, I think that does make sense. Time is an incredibly overpowered element. Here we've got Euphrasia, the Master of Wind from the Cloud Kingdom. This is a really, really cool figure. I did swap the official face out for this one. But yeah, I mean, I really, really like Euphrasia. Of course, if we're talking about Masters of Wind, we have to talk about Morrow. Morrow, such a cool character, man. Bringing him back in Dave the Departed and Dragon's Rising, both times it was so risky, but both times they pulled it off flawlessly. Somehow they just keep managing to bring Morrow back and make him an even better character than he was before. I absolutely love this guy. The hairpiece you can see there is a pad-printed green strip to make it more show accurate. And yeah, next up for the Source Dragon of Flow, of course, we have Smoke. And this is the current Master of Smoke, Cinder. Now, the legs and head are both custom from Super Brick Figs. This isn't sponsored or anything. I paid for, you know, every single piece you see here, I paid for myself in this entire video. The Cinder, I mean, Cinder's such a cool character. It was confirmed by Doc Wyatt that he is related to Ash by blood. So is he Ash's son, like cousin, brother? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what happened to Ash? I think maybe, you know, if we I guess spoiler alert, we'll do 2 in 1 actually. Here's Ash and here is Cinder. I think Ash does kind of look old enough to have a son, and maybe that son could be Cinder. What do you think? Do you think Cinder could be Ash's son? I think maybe that is the theory that I'm going to subscribe to. Ash in the show never spoke a word. He just fought with Kai and that was it. So bringing that power back, giving it to Cinder and making him such a cool character is an awesome concept, and it just goes to show why the Dragon's Rising writers are the GOATs. The Ash figure, is gorgeous. I love the color scheme on him. We'll just move Cinder out of the way. Never mind. The color scheme on Ash, the clay blue. I don't know the official name. Is it sand blue? Maybe I don't know, but it is such a gorgeous figure. The final Elemental Master we have from the Flow Source Dragon is Camille. Now, Camille, the Master of Form, of course, this is not the outfit she used in Season 4. In Season 4, she had this design, which looks quite similar, and she also had a mole on her cheek. However, this figure is the Dragon's Rising version of Camille, because she did appear in the Tournament of Sources, which was just so cool. I was so happy to see her there. Now, the final Source Dragon we have is the Source Dragon of Balance. And here we have Wu and Garmadon. Now, the reason we're taking a look at both of them together is because it was never confirmed whether Wu and Garmadon's powers fall under the Source Dragon of Balance. When Glenn was going over the elements for the Source Dragon of Balance, you know, every other Source Dragon had 4 or 5, well, every Source Dragon had 5 powers, except Energy, which only had 4. However, the Source Dragon of Balance only had 3, so I think that the Balance Dragon had 2 less than pretty much all the other Source Dragons. They are perfectly setting it up to have 2 more Elemental Masters fit in there, and, you know, it makes complete sense to have Wu and Garmadon. Their powers aren't confirmed, but I think, you know, it's the general consensus is that Wu and Garmadon are the masters of creation and destruction. Next up for the Source Dragon of Balance, and of course the first actual confirmed power, is the power of Amber. Glenn said Amber is under the Source Dragon of Balance because when you have an Elemental Master, there is always the chance that they can go rogue with their powers and they can be used for wrongdoing. The power of Amber can balance that out and have 2 of the same power, and he used the term fighting fire with fire, which is pretty cool. This Skylar is her crystallized version, but her show accurate crystallized version. This is the outfit they chose to use for her in crystallized rather than the crystallized Skylar minifig, which is kind of weird. Why put that minifig in the sets if you're just going to use this design? Now, we actually have more Masters of Amber than you might realize. This is Skylar's mother. Chen talks about her, and we also see her in the Amber Spiral mini story on the LEGO.com website. Yeah, and here we have the first Master of Amber. Now, I don't think I'd say he's the same generation as Niad and the first Master of Ice, because I think Amber did appear quite a lot later than all of the other elemental powers. But yeah, this custom technically isn't a custom. This is his official design from the Amber Spiral story. I went on Bricklink and I bought all the pieces, and I think it is a very, very cool design. Next up for balance, we have the power of Shadow. This is the most recent Master of Shadow, Obscuria. I think this might be the first time I've showed the complete version of Obscuria on my channel, because when I made the tutorial of how to make her, I didn't have that grey scarf piece. So yeah, here is my completed Obscuria figure. This is, I'm pretty sure, Shade's daughter. Speaking of Shade, here is the man himself. Of course, we saw him all the way back in Season 4, and he was in Season 9, but somewhere between Season 9 and Dragon's Rising, he lost his powers to his daughter. And finally, the third Master of Shadow is the Serpentine War Era one. Now, this is presumably Shade's mother. I think the coolest part about this knockoff is the fact that I managed to get the show accurate hair. Most other people's comes with this really ugly hairpiece. However, I was very fortunate enough to buy this figure on Tower Boa, so I got the show accurate hair, and it just adds so much to the figure. And finally, from the Source Dragon of Balance, we have Kizzy. Now, Kizzy is a water tide. We don't know what realm they're from. And my custom of them, I guess, whatever you want to call it, is Glaciator from Power Miners. So that is it for the 7 Source Dragons with their powers confirmed. However, there are still a ton of Elemental Masters we need to go over, and I think the easiest place to start is with the Forbidden 5. Now, I've already done a video taking a look at all of the Forbidden 5 minifigs in depth, so we're going to go through these very quickly, but here is Noct with a custom cape. Here's Rox with a custom cape, and I think this might be one of my favourite Forbidden 5 minifigs. Here we've got Zark with a show-accurate hat. Drix with a show-accurate hat, which I do have to admit does look a little bit goofy. And Kerr, who might not be my favourite figure, but is probably the best, mainly due to that arm printing. Next up, we have the first Spinjitzu Master, and to be fair, I don't think it's fair to say that he's a miscellaneous one. I think, if anything, maybe you could say that the first Spinjitzu Master got his powers from all 7 Source Dragons, but obviously I wasn't going to talk about him 7 times. Next up, we've got the Overlord. What is he the master of? Darkness, crystals, we will never know, unless Doc Wyatt tells us, but I don't think that's happening anytime soon. Apparently the Overlord didn't receive his powers from the Source Dragons, but his powers are, like, indirectly linked to them or something. I don't really know what's going on there, but yeah. Now we can begin with the truly miscellaneous characters. So this is Acer. We have no idea what his elemental powers are. It was just revealed in the Shatterspin series of comics that he is an Elemental Master. Next up, we've got 5 Elemental Masters who competed in the Tournament of Sources and won. This is an Imperium Elemental Master. Could he be a very old Master of Shockwave? Who knows? Here we've got a Greenbone Warrior Elemental Master. This guy won the Tournament of Sources and he's from the Underworld. Here we've got a Gekul champion of the Tournament of Sources. Here we have a Hypnobride champion. And finally, for the random Tournament of Sources winners, you are really going to have to hear me out here, and please do not laugh at me in the comments. But this is supposed to be this guy. He's like a frog champion of the Tournament of Sources. And I tried so hard to make a good looking custom of him. I only used pieces I had because I really just wanted to get this video out, so I didn't have time to buy a scarf to go with him, but of course I'd use this scarf piece. But I mean, yeah, it's not that good, is it? Next up, we have Zarkar. Now, Zarkar also won the Tournament of Sources alongside all of these guys. However, the reason I didn't just lump him in with those is because Zarkar is more notable. He is an ancestor of Raz. We have seen a flashback with him. Rontu mentioned him. So I think there's a lot more to Zarkar than there is with all of these other random Elemental Masters. Moving on from the Tournament of Sources winners, we have 3 Tournament of Sources competitors. This is Treg. His powers are unknown and he was never shown in a unique outfit, so he just wears the standard Tournament of Sources jersey. Here's my custom Henjamin, again from the Tournament of Sources, Dragons Rising Season 2 Part 2. The beard and the hair annoy me, but those pieces just don't exist. You know, I'd like to have them both in black or both in grey, but the only colour they both exist in is white, and it just would not look right with white hair and a white beard. So I did kind of have to compromise, but I don't think it looks too bad with the different coloured hair. And here we have Ellie. Now, Ellie was just sort of a random background Elemental Master made to sort of make the tournament look a little bit more packed, sort of like Henjamin. And she actually, like Henjamin, got a unique design. I think it's probably one of my best custom Elemental Master figures. Now, that is it for my figures. However, there are still some Elemental Masters I need to list. The reason I don't have minifigs for them is because they're not really Elemental Masters, but I just know if I don't mention them, all of the comments are going to be people calling me out for forgetting people. So yeah, so there are 3 Elemental Masters I think I'm going to list here. First of all is the Master of Portals. He is just from a random Ninjago magazine. There is also the self-proclaimed Master of Gluing. He is also from a Ninjago magazine. And then the final one, and the one people bring up the most, is La, the Master of Water. He is not a Master of Water. He is a self-proclaimed Master of Water who lied about his stories to try and impress people. But that is all I've got for this video. I really hope you enjoyed. Like I said, I'm pretty sure there are 71 figures here. Well, figures or big figs or pieces if we're talking about Kizzy and Artcrack. But that's all I've got for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.